Tragic news coming in. The 6-year-old boy who was rescued from the Borewell in Hoshiarpur was stuck in that Borewell for hours has sadly succumbed to his injuries. The child, remember, was rescued after he had fallen at least 100 feet, 95 to 100 feet, in a 300 feet deep borewell in a village in Hoshiarpur. Ritik was rescued miraculously within 9 hours, was rushed to hospital even though he was in an unconscious state. He was then even put on ventilator, and prayers, of course, from everywhere that he survived. Rescue operations had gone on for at least 8 hours for the 6-year-old little boy Ritik, but now the confirmation has come in from the hospital that the child has succumbed and could not make it despite a miraculous rescue as fast as the NDRF and the army could do for that little young boy. We'll soon get an update from my colleague Manjeet Sehgal as well from Hoshiarpur, joining me on the same. As remember, Manjeet has been tracking all the latest from that ground, but just giving you a background on what happened today morning at 9 a.m. It was reported that this little boy on your screen, 6-year-old Ritik, while playing in the fields in a village near his house in Hoshiarpur, had fallen at least 95 feet in an abandoned borewell, which was why kept open. Answers to that are still awaited, but because it had been abandoned and open, the boy fell. And we are being told that he fell upside down. There was trying to be a contact with his parents that the rescuers tried to do. There were some murmurs and whispers from his end, but the army and the NDRF were on the job. As you can see, an oxygen cylinder was also sent down via a pipe, of course, an instrument, so that there could be some oxygen for the little boy for as long as they could. And then a white pipe was inserted into the borewell to bring the boy out. And compared, I must add here, compared to past instances of children falling and getting trapped in a borewell, within 8 to 9 hours, the rescue efforts were completed. They had managed to bring the boy out. He was unconscious. He was rushed to the hospital, put on a ventilator, but now the news has been confirmed by the hospital. His death has been confirmed. He has sadly succumbed to his injuries. What a terrible nightmare for the family of this little boy. The mother had spoken earlier to India Today and, of course, was completely distraught, but was praying, like everybody else across the country who was watching the updates of this, that the child survived. But now we know that the boy could not make it and could not be reunited with his parents. We'll try and get an update from my colleague Manjeet Sehgal as well on this. But for now, I can tell you, Ritik, the child who was struck in the borewell, succumbs to his injuries. Fallen in a 300 deep feet borewell in Hoshiarpur, was trapped at least till 100 feet, as could be confirmed, was rushed to a hospital, even though he was in unconscious state when he was rescued from that. But even despite him being put on a ventilator, the little boy could not make it. These are visuals coming in on your screen from about a few hours ago, remember, at the time when there was NDRF, Army, also the JCBs had been brought down, the area around it was dug in. The question will always remain, why are we reporting these incidents again and again? Remember, several years ago there was a little boy, Prince, and then since on there have been many children who have mistakenly fallen, got trapped in these literal death traps. And while there are prayers that these children be rescued, the rescue operations are on for several hours in each case. Who is taking the responsibility that we do not lose our young ones to completely avoidable tragedies? Manjeet is now joining me. Manjeet, so the hospital has given a confirmation on that tragic news, and we were all here praying that perhaps the boy would survive. What are you picking up, Manjeet?
Well, Pooja, it took almost 8 hours to rescue Ritik, the 60-year-old child who accidentally fell into the deep borewell. A joint operation launched by the NDRF, the army, local police and the local volunteers. It lasted for 8 hours. The child was rescued after 8 hours. He was given a first aid as ambulance was pressed into service. A team of doctors were also there. He was taken to the emergency department of Civil Hospital, Hoshiarpur, where the doctors put him on the ventilator, gave him CPC, tried their level best to save the life of this child, but they could not save. Doctors say the child died 1 hour before he was taken to the hospital. It seems, Pooja, the local administration, the Punjab government and the administration has not learned any lesson from the previous incidents. Remember in 2019 as well, similar incident was reported in Sangrur when a 2-year-old child, Fatehveer Singh, fell into the Borewell. He was rescued after 108 hours, but the doctors declared him dead. It seems the administration has not learned a lesson, nor there is a technique to save the victims who fell into the Borewell. The then Chief Minister, Captain Amarinder Singh, had announced that all the borewells who have been abandoned will be sealed. Even a helpline was also launched, but that remained on the papers and no action was taken.
And not just the administration only, you know, of course, Manjeet, while the government has to take responsibility of this, the adults living in that village area, the panchayat, the local netas, everyone has to keep an eye out. This is all adults and their callousness that, like you are telling us, in a second case that we have lost a child, he was just out there playing, falls into a death trap. This is a collective responsibility and all of us are failing our children like this.
Yes, indeed, Pooja. This is not the responsibility of the government alone, the administration alone. This is also the responsibility of the common citizens. Remember, this borewell, according to the locals, belonged to the Sarpanch, to the village headman who had left this borewell uncovered. So, Sarpanch is the village headman. He is a responsible person. When he is indulging in carelessness like this, what others will do. So there is also a responsibility. People, the common citizens, should also learn a lesson from this to save the innocents like Ritik from the tragedies like this. So this is a time to take and learn a lesson from this incident. The government, the ministers, we spoke to a local minister, Brahm Shankar Jimpa, who is a cabinet minister, who assured that the government will take action against the people who have abandoned their borewells, and the government will also list them and make them responsible, and action will be taken against them if they are found abandoning their borewells like this.